How do people choose what they want to do? Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life, is some bollocks some old dude told me when I was young. I've always loved cars, so I decided to be a mechanic. Now I hate cars and people that drive cars, and also people who don't drive cars. In summary, I hate cars and people. There's a very famous song, if you want to call it even a song, called Sunscreen. It was released in 1999 by Baz Luhrmann. I suggest you listen to it as it talks about life and was pretty popular at the time. Anyways, some of the lyrics go. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. The most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. It's true. Most people don't know what to do in life. Most just fall into things. If we want to use celebrities as examples, did you know Hugh Jackman was once a teacher? Yup, he was. Did you know Ken Jeong, Community and Hangover fame, was once a doctor? 1. Does it make money? 2. Do you think you like it? 3. Do you think you'll still like it once you're doing it 50-60 hours a week? Ideally, if you have an opportunity to get hands-on experience in that field of work, such as volunteering, or job shadowing, or some sort of workshop, that gives you a realistic look into what it's going to be like on the job. You'll get a better idea whether you actually want to do that as a profession. It's one thing to enjoy doing it as a hobby. Completely different when your, and possibly other people's, entire livelihood depends on it. I'm just winging it, man. Started as a gap year. Couldn't pick a career, just started doing what felt right in the moment and hoping for the best. You don't. Life lands on you. You don't have to choose. Mid-50s here, and just starting a new career after doing many different things over the last 35 years. Variety is the spice of life. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you need a career plan mapped out for yourself from now until retirement. You choose a career or it chooses you. I never had a plan, so after school I wound up by working for a large delivery company for over a decade. I knew I didn't want to do it forever, so I went to college and really didn't know what to do, so I became a teacher. I have a few more years to go, but now I started a mango farming business. When I retire from teaching, I plan on expanding my mango farm. My niece went to college for something graphic design. At this time, she prefers to work as a seamstress in a high-end wedding dress shop altering dresses. Before that, she worked in a furniture restoration shop. You start by first choosing one, then life tends to steer you into the path meant for you. Sometimes that could mean staying with your first choice, deviating from it, or returning to it after having deviated from it. For now, all you have to do is pick one and go. I don't mean recklessly, of course. You still should try to be pragmatic in your choices. Same here. It's tough to pick just one when there are so many cool options. In my opinion, there are 3 main parts to this. 1. Always start doing things you love or like. Making yourself do SDH because of money or pressure would never make you happy. Maybe you gaslight yourself after some years that you're in the place you want to be, but in the end you always gonna question the decision. 2. Trial and error exists, even with careers. Your first choice doesn't have to be the last. Try SDH you want to do. If it works out, great. If you feel unhappy or it's not right for you, change it. Especially if you're younger, you have much more time to test different working conditions, types of work, or even professions. There is no one and only decision. We're not in the Middle Ages anymore. Our life doesn't end at 32 years. We have much more time for anything. 3. Don't undersell your health, will, or wishes. Living is about making the best of the time we have. Our working system is not. Protect yourself so you don't lose yourself. More money isn't always more happy. They bend to something they are better at. Or do not. Whatever you want. Bet there are personality tests you can take online, or even at your school counselor's office that can give you info on a career match. Meantime, don't sweat it, M7CH. Whether you go into engineering or social work, you have to complete general ed classes, English, civics, math, etc. These dominate the first couple of years, so get those out of the way. The exposure to college work will help you decide which path you like or which ones you hate. Decide in a year when you have more info. You just choose one interest and hope for the best. One major piece of advice: try to figure out what job you would enjoy doing, not just what subjects you're interested in. Example: I studied language and literature because I was super interested in that. Loved my studies, but the actual jobs you can do with them are often just sitting behind a computer and writing stuff or organizing events and other things. I eventually switched to teaching because it's much more interactive and creative, and I do really like my job. but I would have enjoyed doing a job in which I could either create something or do something that is both more challenging mentally and has a more practical application, something like landscape architecture or nature management or something. Maybe geology. Anyway, can't do it anymore since a second degree is too expensive. Oh, I know the answer to this. People have trouble with this because what do you want to do is completely contradictory toward what will you tolerate to have a better standard of living. If you can see the distinction between what you enjoy doing, myself for example, I love fitness, and what you do to pay the bills. I was an RMT, but now am taking a master's in safety engineering. It can bring you a lot of perspective and help you make better decisions. Research your potential options, look at job growth, pay, where you want to live. You kinda just have to hope for the best. Your job doesn't have to be a passion. It could what pays for your passion and a nice place to live. Unfortunately, we all have to work because no one lives for free. You might also consider taking some courses in areas that interest you. They can give you a taste without fully committing. I just rolled the dice. Still winging it, but I'll let you know how it turns out. Really just choosing the most interesting one and hope for the best. Actually, many people seem to have their lives on track, but a lot of them also just relied on hoping this works. Trying out different topics and interests could maybe help, especially if you could join a hands-on community. I hope you do find your own niche. You have your own path, and this is just a part of it. You can do this. I kind of just narrowed it down over time. Probably took me way too long, to be honest. I knew I wanted to work in healthcare and make some. I'm still not sure I know what I want to do with my life most days, but here I am. Gotta pay the bills and put food on the table.